Hey guys, thanks for coming back. This weekend I saw The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, starring Jennifer Lawrence, Josh Hutcherson, Liam the Lickable, and of course, one of the most underrated actors that we've ever had in the past 20 years, Mr. Woody Harrelson. This is With the K Review. I'm Victor. Now let's whistle that X-Files-like theme song. So to start off this review, guys, I want you to know that I have not read any of the Hunger Game books. So this review will not be comparing the books to the movie. And now that we got that out of the way, let's continue. So it seems like Hollywood has had a really big problem of holding on to their original directors of their big Hollywood blockbusters. And unfortunately, this has happened to the Catching Fire series. In the first movie, you had Gary Ross directing it, and he's directed a lot of interesting movies. He directed Pleasantville, and he also directed Seabiscuit. Both those movies have been nominated and won several Academy Awards. And I do like the way Gary Ross did the first movie. He had a lot of really good sweeping pictures of like the districts and the capital, and you really got the large scope of the world of the Hunger Games. Now, people didn't like the way he did like that shaky cam movement, and you know what? To be honest, I did like it. I thought it was done more of an artistic manner. But you know what? It's nothing near, like The Bourne Identity, where I'm pretty sure the cameraman just dropped the camera. There's really no excuse for it in The Bourne Identity. He dropped the freaking camera. But in Catching Fire, they did move away from the shaky cam. It's not there anymore, trust me. And they also added some things in this movie that were really cool, and then they added some things in this movie that kind of made me wonder just a little bit. Now for this sequel, you do have a new director in Francis Lawrence, and he's actually directed a lot of interesting things in the past when I looked him up on IMDb. This guy actually started out directing music videos for Britney Spears, Jennifer Lopez, and Green Day, of all people. And he had his first big screen debut in '05 with Constantine, and then in '07, he actually directed Will Smith in I Am Legend, and then after that, he took a completely different direction in Water for Elephants, the guy with rape face. And then, you know what? With all those movies combined, I think this guy really is kind of a jack of all trades. Get it? It's alright, start drinking now. So from the first Hunger Games movie, you do have the entire cast returning. You have Katniss and you have Peeta, and now they're dealing with things and emotions that they didn't have to deal with before. They not only have to deal with like fake being in love, but they also have to deal with like PTSD throughout the entire movie. They start seeing things, they're really angry and nervous about having killed people, and that really starts to affect their characters. And that's one thing that I actually really liked in the movie, is that they were actually affected by what happened to them in the first movie. They couldn't sleep, they couldn't do anything without really feeling guilty and not wanting to have to go out and kill again. But it was really the love story in this movie that kind of made me feel a little bit weird, and I'm going to get to that a little bit later in the review. I do have to say the three people in this movie that actually really helped drive the story along was Donald Sutherland's character of President Snow, and also Effie Gaga and Haymitch. Now all these three characters in the first movie, they did have story and they did have a little bit of background, but you really didn't get to know them. I think more President Snow you did get to know in the first movie, but in this movie, you really did have Effie and Haymitch. Their characters were really brought out, especially Effie's character. In the first movie, it was literally Effie Gaga. But in this movie, you really got to see more of Effie. There were some scenes when Effie was talking to them, and I was like, wow, you really get to see the person behind the crazy hair. But what was kind of weird in this movie was the love interest between Katniss, Peeta, and Liam Hemsworth's character. Now, I realized Katniss was supposed to be in love with Peeta, and then she was supposed to have some love interest with Liam Hemsworth's character. But it was kind of weird because she would be going up to Liam's character and just making out with him, and then later she would just be kind of making out with Peeta. Whether she was faking it or not is not really explained in the movie. In fact, it was so jarring within the movie. The guy next to me, I swear to God, this was the exact reaction when Katniss's character kissed Peeta. Wow, what a slut. And it's kind of weird because I actually agreed with the guy when he said that, but you know what, actually I want to take a little bit of a side note here. Miss Jennifer Lawrence, or J-Law as we like to call you, I would like to say that you are nowhere near a slut, whore, or anything like that. I believe you are a beautiful person on the outside as well as the inside. You are very intelligent, and you have a wonderful career ahead of you in Hollywood. And if you could possibly give me a call sometime, I would really appreciate it, and or subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Moving on. So when I look at the character of Katniss, I kind of wonder if she is a person that's kind of a chameleon wherever she's at. Because in this movie, wherever she is, whatever situation she's in, she seems to adapt to it. When she's around Liam Hemsworth's character, she's in love with him. When she's around Peeta's character, she's in love with him. And I do believe she has good motives. And again, I don't know this character from the book. But from the movie, it's kind of hard to figure out, does she have a love interest in the movie? Does she not? And I'm just not really sure about it. And that's what kind of confused me in the movie. However, this movie is better than the first one because it has a better supporting cast. In the first movie, I really didn't feel like a lot of the lesser characters got as much attention, and in this movie, they really did. They were a lot more supported, and they also helped support the characters of Katniss and Peeta. And in general, this movie is fun to watch. I enjoyed watching it. I didn't feel like I sat there for 2 hours. It kept going at a very good pace. The battle in this movie does happen towards the very end. And to be honest, I liked the battle at the end. It just seemed like the first movie in its battle was just a little bit more intense, even with the shaky cam. So in general, I think I'm going to have to give this movie a 4K review because it was a lot better than the first one. I actually am going to give the first movie a 3K review, but this one definitely gets a 4K review. Make sure to go see it in theaters for any price whatsoever, and make sure when it comes out on video, rent it, and when it comes streaming, make sure to kick it up into the top 5. And thanks guys for watching my show. I do appreciate all the viewers and subscribers that I do have. Make sure to click to the sides of me here if you want to see any of my past reviews. And you know what? CYK, click your keys. Tell me, you know what books and or graphic novels do you not want to see on the silver screen at all? What are things that are so sacred to you that you never want to see Hollywood touch or Michael Bay ever get a hold of? Kind of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But anyway, you know what? Never forget, if you guys don't like what you're watching, you can always turn it off. Thanks, guys.